You might not recognize me without my Subto hat on, but today we've got a very special class that we're teaching. Today is the realtor-only creative finance class where we're gonna be going over the basics, and this room is gonna be full of real estate agents that I wanna do business with. So we're gonna be teaching Subto, seller finance, novation agreements, wraps, lease options, all of the amazing things, and hopefully every single real estate agent in this room today will make money with me and my team over the next couple of years. But today, the video that you're going to be watching is actually something I'm really excited about. I'm doing a challenge with Grant Cardone and his team called the Unbreakable Challenge. He's gonna go through the 5 core components of his business each day. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days, 5 key components of his business. Here, you guys can see my baby over here. But in this video you're gonna be watching right now on YouTube, you're gonna see, oh my gosh, look at Monday, she's walking. Show us a couple of steps, Monday. Come on. There, This video you're gonna be watching with Grant Cardone is an interview that Jamil and myself interview Grant and how he survived the last recession, because we all know it, we're feeling it, we've been feeling it the last 6 months or so. The recession is coming. We want to train you for what to do in that upcoming recession and how not to just survive, but we want to teach you how to thrive. So sign up for that challenge. It's actually happening this week. Sign up for it in the link down below or go to pacerecommends.com.
Dude, it's gonna be a bloodbath. That's what I know.
I agree, 100%.
You know.
What blood have you seen in the water already?
Well, everybody's putting it up. This is what happens in every cycle. They're denying it.
The government's denying it, and then also right now all the companies are cutting spending. Their advertising spending has been
Dude, the
cut.
mortgage industry's denying it. They're like,
Yeah.
no, we're good. We're still doing loans. We're doing refis. How you do a refi? Go from 2.5% to 7.5%.
Right.
Who would do that loan?
Nobody.
Now, if you had to do it,
Right.
But if you had to do it, that is the bloodbath. Anybody has to do it right now. You know, somebody did a loan for 2.5% doesn't even qualify. At 5%, they're not going to qualify. They barely qualified for the loan at 2.5%.
Right.
That's why those homes were sold. So you got unbelievable opportunities that are going to be created just because of timing. Because some guy bought a great asset. Could have been a single family home that he was going to flip. Could have been a duplex in some part of some great location in Arizona. It could have been 400 units. It could be a top of the food chain, big $100 billion group that bought a deal. Timing was just wrong.
Right.
Assets right. The debt amount is wrong. It wasn't then, but it is now. And that loan's going to come due. This is what people don't understand. The loan's coming due. It has nothing to do with credit scores, asset quality. This loan amount, this asset is going to go into a bucket called a technical default. And if you're not in this game, and if you're not building a business plan for this specific claim, you're not in the game.
Right.
As you guys know.
You're going to get left behind.
You won't even see the deal.
Right.
This deal isn't going to go out to the world. It's not going to be a public event advertised in a newspaper. They're not going to be an auction. Okay, like the foreclosures back.
These are going to trade between people in the know.
100.
Yeah.
People that are ready.
People that are ready, people that are prepared, people that know what they're looking for. Okay, there's not a few of these, by the way. I had a meeting this morning before I got here. There is probably $1 trillion worth of debt.
I saw there was 1,500 assets that will come due by the end of next month. 1,500 assets, not 1,500 doors, 1,500 built like properties. Buildings,
Yeah.
entire 200, 500, 700 unit complexes are coming due. And that's the thing people don't realize is that these loans that they were getting 2 years ago that were just bridge financing, right? They were meant to be refinanced.
Right.
They were meant to be refinanced. So you go,
They had a business plan.
Right. Their business plan was, let's buy now. We're going
And it was a cool business plan.
until interest rates changed.
Until the Fed said, hey, we're going to take rates from 2.5 to 7.5.
Now, none of those assets make sense.
Well, not only do they not make sense, they no longer hit the criteria necessary for the bank, the lender, to keep that deal on their books.
Right.
This is not an option. This has to happen. Okay, it will not be like. Many times they can keep buying this back and kicking the can down the road and bailing people out.
Don't you think that's what they're trying to do by shoving this under the rug right now? Because nobody's admitting that this is happening. They see it on their books. They know this is coming around the corner. Why aren't they talking about it now? What's their plan?
You know, I don't know what the plan is, but I know quietly what's going to happen is, like the last time I was at where you guys are in Arizona, I get a phone call. Hey, you looked at an asset that we had, a big institution, and this has to be sold. Now, it was supposed to be sold in 2020. That was the deadline. But COVID hit in 2020, so they're like, okay, we can't sell it right now.
Right.
So they have an addendum in their book. This is a big institution, and this is going to happen tens of thousands of times. Tremendous opportunity to create wealth right now for everyday people. because the institutions cannot do the deal now. It's always going to be right now. In the first phase, it's going to be us. This is an opportunity for the grinder with a business plan to go in and grab, like, these are life-changing assets. This happened to me in 2008, happened to me in 2000, happened to me in 1995. So these are the moments where people get.
But were you ready for it in 1995?
No, I wasn't ready for it in 2008 either. I wasn't ready for it because I didn't have the pillars of business. I didn't have these 5 basic things that you have to have.
Well, we talked about that with Jared. Jared gave us a tour of your office and was talking about the
Yeah,
departments.
can
in
I
your
just finish the story?
Yeah, I'd
on
love
this,
to. Yeah.
On this asset. So they call us up. This is how easy the deal gets. Like, you guys know how hard it's been to buy real estate?
Yeah.
This phone call goes like this. You looked at it 19 months ago. We know you're capable. We know you're spending more time in Arizona. Would you come take a look at the asset? We'd like to work off something off the side quietly. It has to sell. When's the last time you guys got that phone call? This has to go. It has to get off the books. We cannot go to other institutions because those institutions, this is what the guy told me, are not doing deals.
Wow.
So literally, Grant, if you want the deal, blah, blah, here
Yeah,
it is.
it's a lob.
So then now you have to know, okay, how do I start? I go see it. How do you talk to the guy? How do you find out what price? Like, I'm like, hey, you think, if I write it around 65, 66, you think we're good? Yeah, we're good. Okay, good. So I do a little research, and I go back and say, I hint at 62. I'm like, okay, man, I did my research. You have to have a strategy for doing this. Okay, we bought it for 56.
Whoa.
And it got $2 million in reserves to fund
Wow.
the asset.
Wow.
And they paid 68 plus they put in 8.
Is this because their loan is now due?
The loan,
The loan was due during COVID.
their fund, they were closing their fund out. So their fund, this is the deal, one last deal. This is what people don't understand. Every day, like, I didn't know this until about 5 or 6 years ago. These big funds, these monster funds, they get so many deals, and then they make their money off of trading these assets. And they might have 10 or 12 deals in a fund. And when they get rid of 9 of them, they're waiting for their fees with the last one.
Yeah.
You guys have seen builders make a bunch of money,
Yep.
and the last 2 deals lose all their money.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what's going to happen this cycle. Just because of timing, nothing to do with the asset, nothing to do with real estate's not bad. Single family homes are going to be fine. All the headlines are going to be terrible. And all the headlines are going to force everybody to the sidelines. The headlines force them to the sidelines, and give you an opportunity to play a game you could never play.
So here's what's happening in our business, right? We do single family and multifamily, right? It's a good mix. Probably 60% this year multifamily, 40% single family. When we go look at a deal a year ago, talking to an agent, talking to a seller directly, maybe, oh my gosh, they want the highest possible price.
Out
Come
to
in with
lunch.
all cash.
Coming all cash, over asking, blah blah blah, all this
And
stuff.
then 15-day
Yeah.
close,
Yeah.
like crazy shit.
Now you've got agents coming to us and saying,
Right.
the seller's willing for you to take over the payments,
Mm-hmm,
and I'm okay to defer my commission.
Right.
I mean, we're seeing that in the single family housing. We see flippers that bought.
Have you ever seen it happen this quick, like this
Never,
violently?
never, no. It was almost overnight.
It literally was.
It was overnight so quickly this year that the sellers and some of the agents still haven't even caught up with it.
Right.
They're still stuck in 8 months ago.
They're in denial.
And they're going to wake up in 2 months, 3 months, and the world is going to be a completely different world. And so I look back at like 1995, 2008 for you, and you say, I wasn't prepared.
I couldn't do it. I mean, I had a little money. I just didn't have the business plan. I didn't have the confidence. I'm not talking about the motivation. I didn't know, hey, real estate's always, I mean, I kind of knew that real estate would be there. I did not know. Real estate was the first thing that came out in 2012. The thing that went down, the income property, the income producing part of real estate is the first thing that recovered from the biggest recession we've had in this country in 50 years. That will happen again. In fact, I believe, I think it's going to look like, it's going to be this downward, you got a pen? Anybody got a pen? It's going to be this really vertical price drop.
How much?
On single family, it won't be very much.
On multi?
I think the single family may have already
Corrected,
we're
yeah.
getting close
Yeah.
to all these headlines, 20%, another 45%, never going to happen.
No, I'm seeing 10. It's yep.
Exactly. Let me check your mind. Now,
And they're trading at 10 right now. So they,
10%.
all the single family investors.
Look, as long as nobody goes to make an offer, which nobody is right now, it's going to keep dropping
Yeah.
until a bunch of maniacs, people like me and you, We're gonna be like, yeah, okay, I can do that. I can raise the money. I can do that deal.
Yeah.
That deal's a steal.
Right.
That location's sick. You got to know the location. You got to know the future of that city. That like not every city's gonna have this. This thing's gonna look like this. For houses, it's gonna probably look like this.
Okay.
And then on the
In a
other
downward
way out,
trend.
by the way, the houses could do this.
Yeah.
This thing, these are apartments. You know, these are 10 units, 15 units, 150 units. This thing's gonna go down because there's so much of this. And then it's going to spike straight back up. You got about 18 months. The next 18 months, I think this cycle is going to be the most violent, downward, upward. I'll make more money in this cycle than I made in
Okay,
my
so
entire career.
when people said this back in 2008, they said that all the people made tremendous amounts of wealth in that downturn. I didn't know what that meant at that time.
Right.
I had no idea what that meant. I'm like, how are you making money as the economy is crashing?
Right.
Everything's falling apart.
Yeah.
So what does that mean?
Because you're not making money.
Not
Okay,
making
you're
money.
not making money.
Or you don't know what to do.
Well, whatever. Everybody's hanging on for food, right? And a commission, and my sales are down, and the business owner's like, I got to let people go. I'm trying to find a bottom line. I wasn't trying to find a bottom line.
You're not taking profits here.
Dude, I want
Yeah,
assets.
you're
Right.
you're collecting
What you
here.
do is quit collecting money. You're a goddamn slave. We were all taught to get a job and go get money. Get a job and go get money, not to pay taxes. The government wants you to work, so that you're not at home all day pissed off about your living situations. They want you to be pissed off about work, not about the government, right? So people are not taught to collect assets. The thing that we're going to be doing in January is putting a focus on people to build a business so you can start buying assets, because these assets will go up and last longer than your talents will. So like in 2010,
That's powerful.
Yeah.
In 2012, actually, I bought, this happened. It carried a bunch of stuff down with it, okay? By 2010 and 12, only 2 years, it was about 18 to 24 months where this thing started recovering, but I wasn't confident. I got lucky. There was a deal right here in 2012 that I bought. I borrowed $15 million to buy it. I scrambled all this money together. It seemed like the unbelievable amount of money. I sold my house to get 12 of it. I had this house, had a bunch of equity in it. Fortunate that I had that. But it was a liability. That house was a liability. And then I borrowed the other $3 million from friends and family. That asset in 10 years with $15 million is worth $300 million.
Wow.
Are you joking me?
And it's paid me every month for 12 years. Okay.
Wow.
It was the first thing that recovered. I earn about $1 million a month on this thing every month, bro.
On the one building.
And it's worth $300 million. Well, it's 4 buildings. It's a portfolio.
Incredible.
So what happened was, this is 2012. There was 58 bidders. Okay, this is taking right now and adding like 6 or 7 months. I think all this happens in the next 6, 7, 8 months. 58. All the bad news had peeled off. Now, it wasn't the bad news, but now it had kind of like, okay, we're going to survive. And 58 bidders were on that deal. That's the other thing that people should be looking for. You do not want to go find a deal that nobody else is on. Ideally, in parts of this cycle, the best assets, when you know it's coming out, guys are going to go start playing. Some of you, it's going to be too late then, because you're not going to have enough money to compete with these other maniacs. And these guys all know that this cycle happened last time. They remember this, and they remember that they missed it.
And they're preparing.
Dude,
Right.
I know I left billions of dollars because I didn't have the network, didn't have the communication skills, didn't have the marketing, didn't have the sales skills. This is when you're buying something like this, you're a salesman, not a buyer.
Right.
You got to know how to sell these people to pick you.
Right.
Well, talk about those pillars, because it's important that we understand how we can fortify ourselves and prepare ourselves to take advantage of this opportunity.
Yeah.
Because I heard you say them, but explain that
so,
to me.
So look, first you got to make a decision. You need to make a decision in this cycle that you're gonna start.
So that's all happening
assets.
here.
It's a bit of a mental thing. I don't mean it to be like motivation or inspiration or wah or like, because all that stuff, none of that lasts. In real estate, none of those guys do any of that bullshit.
Right.
I don't know one guy in real estate. One big guy, Sam Zell, he's worth $5 billion. Donald Bren, I don't know what Donald's worth, $12 billion. None of those guys believe in any of the motivation bullshit, walk on fire, get excited, jump out of a plane. They don't do that shit to buy real estate. They buy real estate so they can feel good.
Right.
So they can go wherever they want. And that's the, you guys know this, okay? Like there's guys that work in business, work hard in business, and then there's real estate guys. Real estate guys have the best lifestyle.
The best.
The best. Not Wall Street hedge fund guys making commissions and points. It's real estate guys that own assets. They're calm. They don't worry about shit. They're on the yachts. We did this south of France. I saw like 25 yachts in one port. Half of them were real estate investors. So I didn't make the decision then. I just said I got to get through this in 2000.
Oh,
I got lucky, bro.
That's a mindset thing, though, right? You didn't have the skills, you didn't have whatever. And your phrase that you told yourself is, "I got to get through this."
I got to get through this. Yeah. Okay. Well, this time I'm like, oh no, I know I'm gonna get through this. This is the first thing that needs to happen. Everybody gets through this. You're not gonna die in this. The question is, are you gonna be bigger or smaller? And will you have income or will you have assets? So, the first thing we'll do, we'll spend about a half a day working on people to have a decision. Start changing your mind about, in this cycle, what are you going for? Money, commissions, just to pay the bills, pay your house off, get rid of some debt? Or do you want some assets in this cycle?
I think that's massively important because when you're here, the majority of people are looking at survival.
Totally.
They're not looking at how...
They're looking for shortcuts. They're looking for, hey, how can I feed the kids right now? How can I get a deal? How can I do... how can I reduce my debt? Reducing debt is a gimmick, okay? It doesn't give you freedom. Assets give you freedom. So if you're not looking for assets and you're looking simply to like get a little more money or 3 months of emergency fund, you're not going to see assets. And these assets are going to happen. Literally, they're going to be like, the whole world will see them in every marketplace. You could live in Indianapolis, Los Angeles, Orange County, you name it, man. Pick a city, Philadelphia, Boston, every city in America, this will happen. So number one, hey, what are you looking for? And so the emphasis and impetus here is going to be on collecting assets to create generational wealth for your family, not to learn how to make another $200. Because let's face it, $200 isn't going to save your life. Inflation is going to be around for a long time, and inflation benefits assets, not income. So number one. Number two, now we got to figure out, how do I market myself to this community of sellers, scared people, mortgage brokers? It's a big giant network. You guys know it.
How to market yourself to raise capital?
Yeah.
How do you market yourself to crowdfund?
Right.
We've raised $1 billion. I know you guys have raised a bunch of money. Because you see, everybody's excuse is, I don't have the money and I don't have the credit.
Oh, we don't need either one of those.
You don't need either one. These assets, people borrow money on these assets. Nobody ever looks at your credit score. Right. Your credit score has nothing to do with these deals. You could have a 580 credit score and still get a loan on this asset.
Right.
Because now they might want more money down because of your asset, because of your
history.
Score.
Yeah, but it doesn't have to be your money.
But the bigger issue is not even your credit score. It's going to be who's going to manage the asset. That's what they're going to look at.
Yeah.
Right.
And this is, it's just crazy to me. It's painful to me to watch how many families bust their ass, spend money. They'll spend $500 to fix their credit score to buy a house that'll never make them any money, when they didn't even need to do that. If they would have just found the right asset that they would invest in that would pay them money to buy their house. So we'll work on that marketing. How do you market yourself to somebody if you don't have money and you don't have credit? What are you going to tell people? You can't tell them you don't have money and you don't have credit. You got to be able to market yourself to those people. Third thing is, now I got to make a sales pitch. I got to explain to them why they should give me this piece of property with no money and let me assume their loan.
Right.
That's a pitch. That's not a sales guy like trying to sell a car, 2-door, 4-door. This is a pitch to typically either very scared people, which are hard to talk to. It's like talking,
because they're not making rational decisions right now, because they're trying to survive too.
It's like the scared dog. The scared dog will bite.
Yeah.
Even though they're not biters, right? They'll attack you because they're scared, and this buyer's scared. The brokers are going to be scared.
The sellers are scared.
Everybody, the lender's going to be scared. How do you talk to them and calm things down and tell them you're the right guy? Somebody's going to buy this asset. You got to remember, like, this asset is going to trade hands in this cycle. It's going to be whether Johnny owns it, you own it, I own it, me. Somebody's going to get it, but it's trading hands. It's then who's my network, man? Who can I call about? Hey, help me out with some money here. This is a freaking steal of a deal. When you guys find a deal with no money, is it hard to raise money? Not at all. Yeah, you're like, dude, they're going to give me this.
You got a waiting list.
Yeah.
You got a waiting list. Yeah.
And so that's not going to discontinue. People, there's still going to be trillions of dollars was printed. That money hasn't gone. You know, the crazy thing about contractions is the same amount of money is still there.
Still there, yeah.
That money didn't contract.
It's just got fear all over it right
It
now.
just moved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just moved to different places.
Yeah. So you learn to market yourself,
Yeah.
right? Now you've got a pitch, you've got a message. Now what's next?
Now, how do I get a stage? How do I get somebody to pay attention to my message? You know,
Because
this
attention
what
is
people
every. And I think we learned this from you.
Yeah.
Money follows attention.
100.
So how do you do it?
Well, you don't have to get a TV show like you guys did, because not everybody can do that. It's very rare that anybody ever gets a TV show. So that's not a good thing, because if you're going to wait to get a TV show, it would take 7 years before you get one. The cycle's over.
Yeah.
Right.
So how do you find the list, who they are, get their attention, get them on the phone, get in front of them, get a meeting? Those are all mini TV shows, by the way. You're being auditioned every day,
Agree.
or you're being ignored. And this is where money follows attention. More importantly, assets follow attention. That's why I got the phone call from the people in Phoenix, because I know how to get attention from a specific group of people. I'm not talking about Instagram, by the way, because these people are not on Instagram.
Right.
They're not. That's not their game. Where are they? They are somewhere. Now you got to know where they are, how to talk to them. They talk a little different, but it's easy to learn. If you want $1 billion worth of assets. Now, if you don't want $1 billion worth of assets, nobody would learn any of this stuff.
15 million to 300
Bro,
million.
50 million wasn't even mine, bro. It wasn't even mine. Like my brother put in $1 million. I think he put in $1 million. Maybe I've given him that money back. I gave him his $1 million back, and $3 million more.
Woo!
Total of $4 million. And I pay him $18,000 a month every month.
Wow.
After he got 4 million.
Every month for 12 years, I paid him $18,000 a month.
Wow.
And he's got $4 million. Hey, he's got all his money, his $1 million plus $4 million. That's one of 41 properties. So my life is good. My life is not good because I work hard. My life is best because, well, I got my wife and I got my kids, and that's been fantastic. I got my health, and I got this recurring passive income coming in. These aren't flips. Like, I'm not worried about selling it, or I'm not even worried about the cycle.
Well, here's what I'm excited about, Grant. You've got this Unbreakable Challenge coming up, right? We're doing this in January. We're participating.
Can't wait to do it with you guys too. It's gonna be
Super
fantastic.
excited about it. Super
It'll be
excited
good
about
for
it.
the people.
100%.
People they're just like you back in 2008.
Yep.
Back in 1995. You go, I know that real estate's the thing, but I don't know what to
Right.
do. And so you survived through all of that rather than gone out and did the $15 million deal that turned into $300 million. That's insane.
My,
Right place, right time, right attitude, bro. Like that's, yeah, how many times have we heard that in our life? Got to be in the right place. Got to have a little bit of luck. It really wasn't luck. I mean, it was some luck. You know, what happened was I didn't get picked in the deal. There was 58 buyers. I was second, whatever that means.
Then how'd you get the deal? You had to sell
I
him?
called the guy up. It's called hanging around the rim. They picked somebody else. And I called the guy up and said, Robert, you've never done a deal with me. I promise you, if these people stub their toe, slow down, act like they're not going to do it. Because remember, bad news is still in the environment.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So everybody's shaky. Okay? 3 days later, I said, you tell me, you call me up and you tell me in 24 hours, I'll have my security deposit to you. And he called me 3 days later. I was in Aruba. My wife and I were in Aruba. I was out on the deck of this boat. I run in. We were on this convention that we were doing. And I run in and I said, Elena, we're going to make $20 million on this deal.
Oh, we were talking about this at dinner the other night. This is that deal.
We're going to make $20 million. I'm telling you. And this was going to be life-changing for me. And I was like, maybe we make $20 million. I might be exaggerating a little bit, but it's going to be a lot. It wasn't 20.
it was way more than 20 million.
It's 270 million in profit. 280 million in profit.
Ridiculous. And I'll probably never sell it. My kids probably have this asset 30 years. It'll still be there. There's only been 2 owners of this piece of real estate. The guy that shook out, how do you think he feels?
Huh.
Wow,
He
Grant.
had it, man, in his hand, but he didn't have the confidence, didn't have the team. If he'd have had these 5 pillars that we're going to share in January, he would not have let go of this deal.
Wow.
My family won. So was I lucky or was I ready?
You were ready.
I was ready, man. This time I'm more ready. And in fact, to solidify my readiness, what I want to do in January is share this, because the more I share and teach, the more prepared I become. It's like when you go out and tell your kids to do something, you become a little more secure in that knowingness.
Yeah. They say we retain 99% of our information that we learn by teaching it to other people.
I believe that.
Yeah. It's the learning pyramid. If you're just
And
doing
it makes you public too. It makes you public. It's like, hey man, I said I was going to do this. Now the whole world just saw that.
You got the accountability. You got to do it.
Yeah.
And our communities, the one thing that I can say about what Pace and I have done extremely well is be transparent and real with the people that we work with and that listen to what we're doing. And we've told them, it's coming. You know, we spent the last 2 days with you, and we've watched, we've heard the analysis. We see what's coming around the corner. We understand that these are the requirements of what everybody's got to do to get through here, not to survive, but to thrive out of it.
Yeah.
So you got the attention, right? Money's going to follow it. How do we communicate it? What's next?
Yeah. What are you looking for? Like, you got to know what you're looking for, because, you know, the one thing you don't want to do is you don't want to like see all real estate as just like a bunch of real estate.
Right.
Because then you won't see anything. You need to get like this thing. I was looking for a particular thing. You know, that's why this thing came to me. It's a little bit like the law of attraction, even though that's a lot of voodoo. But if you go to the grocery store and you know what you're looking for, you're just going to end up with a bunch of shit in your shopping cart.
That's a good point.
So in real estate, same thing. To people, real estate all looks the same in the house, a flip. Locations look the same to most people. They don't look the same to us. Like 4 houses change everything for me. You know, 4 addresses, and how close I am to a Whole Foods or a Starbucks, or a real Starbucks, not a Safeway Starbucks, a Kroger Starbucks. So all those little things, like what are you guys looking for? You know, and my hope is that we, the 3 of us for sure, leave that January event and say, I know exactly what I'm looking for that's going to change my life, period.
Yeah.
Not make me money.
As you go through the 4 days, what we plan on doing in our communities is going through the challenge with you, beside you, alongside you, and then afterwards doing lives with our community afterwards.
Yeah.
Recaps.
To push them through it.
And not just helping them through it, but we're going to apply it to our own businesses.
Yeah.
And say, hey, look, we've been in real estate. This year we acquired $300 million in assets, and we're going to go acquire $1 billion next year.
Yeah, and you can.
Okay, you're going to go acquire a lot more than that. You're way more ready than we are.
Yeah, that's fine.
Right, but you're cutting the jungle down in front of us, and we're just following your path, which we appreciate. So we're going to go.
I can't do all the deals, by the way. So what we do, we should talk about how we could do this for your community.
Absolutely.
Deals I don't do, we share with our community. We have a real estate club where I'm like, I'm not doing this deal. Here's why.
But we want that.
This deal's still a good deal.
We want to do that.
Well, we want to do deals with you, Grant.
Yeah, and sometimes it's because I can't do a deal because I can't be in that market yet.
Right.
Because I'm belabored with maybe 3 or 4 deals in this other market, and I want to make a stand here. Like, one of the things we're trying to duplicate is creating critical mass in specific areas. So sometimes that's a good business plan, but it could keep me from buying a deal in Indianapolis that I should be buying.
Right.
But I can't buy everything.
Yeah.
You can do anything. I believe this, unless you try to do everything, and I can't do everything. So then I'll hit you guys and say, I know you guys are making a stand over there. Here's the deal. I don't want anything.
Love it.
I just want to feed my community rather than some rich family that's already set up, another Walton that gets to fucking steal, the best asset in Arkansas because they've been there for 50 years.
Right.
See, like, that's a good play right there, because they will never let that town go down.
Right.
Never. Bentonville.
And we're getting all this data. The other thing we want to do is start sharing data with you guys, okay? Like there's data right now that these college towns are going to be problematic.
Yeah, because college is dying.
It's, the big colleges are going to be fine, but the little tier college, like where I went to college, maybe not.
And why is that? Education world is changing?
Because number one, the birth rates are down. So we have the lowest birth rates we've ever had. 18 years from now, they're not going to be these nobody's going to be at the dorm. Nobody's going to be there.
Not enough people,
and they're going to quit giving this money away.
Yep.
It's going to quit. It can't keep being free loans. College has been the most inflated single product in America. It's gone up like 8 or 9 or 10 times. It's been inflated already because of free money, trillions of dollars, and they don't even get a product.
And the information hasn't progressed.
You go to college, bro. You don't
I went
know
to
what
college.
NOI is.
Yeah.
No, you have
Did
no
they
clue.
teach you NOI,
Nothing.
cash flow?
Nothing.
Nothing. How to get a loan?
How to
Nothing.
raise money?
Nothing.
Half the
Nothing.
courses I had to take weren't even applied to the degree I was
Still
doing.
can't shave your beard.
Neither. Well, we've been on the road for a long time.
Yeah. So anyway, those things, I guarantee you, people will learn more in 5 days at this event than they'd learn going to Harvard in 4 years.
I believe that. And that's why we're going to do the challenge with you guys. We're going to do it right after. Every day we're going to go live with our communities and show how we're going to implement the information in our existing business. And then we'll have people in our community that have just barely started that need a business plan. And we'll help them write that business plan out on day one.
Yeah.
Right? Make a commitment mentally.
That's
This is what we're going to do.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we're going to walk them all the way through it. So through the 5 days, they're not just going to get the challenge, but they're going to get the coddling and the hand-holding right afterwards, how to apply it to our individual industry.
And that's where a lot of people, drop the ball. They get the information and never.
There's no implementation.
The practical execution and
Right.
implementation. So if you're going to do that for you guys, hey, make sure you take advantage of that. That's worth as much as the data. Data's nothing without it being executed.
We tell people all the time, you need less information, you need way more implementation.
Yeah. And you need more assets.
Right.
You put some ET on your ass.
Let's do it. We're excited, Grant.
Assets change your life. You can only get, a man told me once, he's like, look, bro, people are only going to pay you so much for your talent. And even when they overpay you for your talent only lasts so long anyway. It's going to be a day when you don't have talent and nobody's going to pay you for it.
Right.
You need assets. And my dad didn't know that. My mom didn't know that. My generations of people before me, they did not know. But what happened, just one short story. My dad died and my mom started selling everything. He died on a Thursday. Tuesday, she sold the house. She was terrified. She had to get dumped assets. Sold the life insurance, sold all the stocks, everything went. Because she needed money. She was scared. And then when my uncle died, they sold everything he had.
Wow.
Except the 80 Section 8 homes that he had collected over 40 years. And I was like, oh man, I get the game now. Own assets that cash flow. And you'll never get rid of them. And they'll take care of your family after you're dead.
Yeah. That's the game.
It's easy.
It's easy if you have the game
I tell
plan.
you what, it's easier than making money. It's easier than becoming Kevin Hart or Dave Chappelle or Tom Brady.
Or Pace Morby or Grant Cardone.
It's easier.
Yep.
It's easier. So, the fact that I'll make more money than Tom Brady is freaking crazy.
That's crazy. When we look at how much money we make now in real estate compared to like celebrities and athletes that we looked up to
It's
for
insane.
forever.
Yeah.
In fact, we've got this rap group we hang out with a lot, prolific rap group.
And pay less taxes.
We pay zero in taxes.
Yeah.
Zero. And we go hang out with these guys.
Yeah.
And we're thinking that these guys are worth all the dollars.
Yeah.
And you sit down with them and you have conversations about money and they go, so you guys don't have to work? We go, no, we haven't had to work for years. They're still on tour 20 years after they had a hit album.
Yeah.
All about assets, cash flow.
Talent is taxed at 40 or 50%.
Ooh, talent is taxed at 40 or 50%.
Yeah.
That's true.
And then the people that buy it from you still complain, oh, you were late for the show. Assets are not taxed. Inflation helps them. Inflation hurts talent.
Yeah.
And they continue on after you're dead.
Wow. Talent is taxed at 40%, bro. Get cash flow, assets.
Everybody can get an asset, but not everybody can get talent.
That's true. It's true. Well, we're excited about the Unbreakable Challenge, Grant.
very
Thank you
excited.
so
Can't
much.
Wait,
We
man.
appreciate
Let's
it.
go, man.
And thanks for having the heart to share this with people.
Yeah, and the fact that you guys are going to do this thing at the end to help people pull it together.
Yeah.
I'll bet we get more results from your group than
Oh, we are-
anybody else on
100%.
Because that thing that's the icing on the cake.
I want somebody in our community I want
story
100
right here,
stories
bro.
like that.
Exactly.
100 stories like
Yeah.
that.
I mean, if it was a tenth of the story, if a tenth of that means somebody's worth
Grant, I would have been-
$35 million because of one 5-day event in January.
If you told me that asset went from 15 million to 50 million, I would have been just as blown away. But it went to 300 million dollars.
Yeah.
Did you, when it was hitting those numbers, did you even think that was even possible? I think that people had a hard time.
This is what happened, okay? So it was 58 million. I put 15 million down. It made 12% a year. And then a bank came to me. I didn't go to the bank. I didn't even know this shit. Once you own assets, the old saying about when you need the bank, they won't help you, but
Yeah.
when you don't need them, they'll
Oh, yeah, yeah.
help you. Dude, they won't just help you; they'll come to you and show you how to do this. I didn't know how to do this.
So you had a bank come to you.
I owed $43 million on the deal. If my numbers are right. The bank came to me and said, hey, we can refinance this deal. The bank that had the loan, they're like, hey, we want to refinance this loan for you. I said, okay. What does that look like? I didn't know. What's it going to cost? My first thing was, how much you going to charge me? They're like, hey, bro, let's just see if we can even do it. They come back and say, we're going to give you a loan for $108 million. I said, man, that's a lot of money on this deal.
This is how you paid out your
I
investors.
said, you're still, no, I kept my investors in.
Wow.
I didn't pay them out. That's how I roll.
Wow.
I paid them off and kept them in.
You made them whole, gave them profit, and kept them in.
And kept them in at the same percentage they were in. My
Bro.
brother owned 6.4%. He still owns 6.4%.
That's why he's getting a check every month, and he got $3 million on top of his one.
Yeah.
You know what the big groups would have done?
Kicked them out.
You, boom,
Yeah.
here's your 6.4, man. Send me a thank you letter.
Yeah.
I kept him in the deal because this is how you create wealth. I did not know that until this happened to me.
Wow.
But it wouldn't have happened to me because if I had talent or if I worked hard or if I spent another 2 or 3 hours at work. Dude, it happens because of assets. Wealth is created with assets. It is not created with talent.
No, talent is a distraction at the end of the day, the way that, when you look at it like that, because, I mean, look, Pace and I were talented people. You're a talented man. And you can get distracted by your own talents because you think this is going to survive.
Yeah.
And you know what? The facts are is we watch talent degrade every day.
Yeah.
100. Because some technology is going to
Oh, it's going to replace you.
faster. The cameraman's going to be replaced by a robot. The astronaut's going to be replaced by something else. Like no matter how good you are, the asset's going to win over time. So, the Catholic Church is the largest landowner in the world. They've been playing this game for a long time, man.
Bro, I'm excited. Let's get to work, bro.
Okay.
I'm ready.
January 24th, 28th, all the way through 5 days.
5 days. That's a problem for a lot of people, by the way.
Not our people.
No.
Our people are already in real estate. Our people are already
But,
committed.
I just want to talk about the 5 days, though. Because what if I told you 5 days would make you worth
Oh,
$50 million?
they're showing up.
Would you invest 5 days if you knew the 5 days would turn into $50 million? That's $10 million a day.
Grant, people show up to college for 4 years thinking they're going to make $75,000 a year.
Yeah, I think they just show up because they don't want to work.
Yeah, well, maybe. Or somebody gave them bad information.
Yeah.
Yeah, higher education, you're going to get a better. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
They were tricked.
they were tricked. So for 5 days, you can go turn around and be worth $50 million plus if you understand this information.
Well, I know what it did for me. It's $5 billion. And it's just started. And no matter how I age, okay, like I could be doing these deals when I'm 90.
Right.
Let's go, man.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go, man. Let's go kill a brick.
Thank
get
you,
it.
Grant. Appreciate you, brother.
Appreciate you guys.
All right, brother.